WBFF, CPA, IDFA, OCB, MPC, IFBB Pro League, IFBB Pro Elite. Is that the same thing? Have you ever thought about competing, but maybe you're just not quite sure which association is right for you? Whether you are a natural athlete or an open athlete, and don't worry, we'll go over the two terms. Finding which one is best suited for you and which class is available is going to be one of the factors for you to choose which competition you're going to do. And on that beautiful side note, my name is Crystal from Crystal Creations, and you can find us through all social platforms at Crystal_Creations. And if you are in need of a suit or any of your competition accessories, don't forget to visit crystalcreations.com, where you can find your suits for men and for women, including all accessories for your competition need. So with all these associations, it's kind of hard for you to know which one to pick. So first, we'll go over which associations are available for natural athletes. And when I say natural, I mean you are not on steroids, you are following the WADA rules, and I will add a link below to the WADA system, which is the testing system that is often done through urine. And here we go. So first we'll talk about the most prominent association in Canada, which is called the CPA, also known as the Canadian Physique Alliance. The CPA is one of those organizations that has both natural athletes and open competitions. Now within both of these areas, you can go up to the regional level, which is for novice and first-time competitors included. Then there are pro qualifiers, and then nationals. Once you pass the nationals, you go up to a second organization, which is the tier system, and you would be moving into the IFBB Pro League. The CPA has a couple different categories available for their men's classes and for the women's. First, let's talk about the men. Men have a few classes, which include bodybuilding, classic physique, and physique. Now for the women, there are a couple more options for you to pick from. The first class that we're going to talk about is bikini, which is a very slender X physique. Think about your cover girl fitness model. That would be the ideal body for a bikini athlete within the CPA. The next physique would be wellness. Wellness is the newest addition added to the CPA. The physique for wellness is very similar to bikini when you are talking about the conditioning level. However, overdeveloped glutes and legs. The following group would be figure, which is similar to a T shape. Wide shoulders, very slender mid and glutes with a bit of a taper at the lats. Followed by physique. Now ladies' physique is a bit of a wider X body, where you would be a little wider at the shoulders, very slender at the core, and going wider at the hip, with a fair amount of muscle in comparison to figure. And the last class for women's CPA would be women's bodybuilding. The ideal body for women's bodybuilding would be a wide X figure, meaning broad oversized shoulders, very slender waist, and oversized muscular leg. The CPA is a sanctioned association linked to the NPC and the IFBB Pro League, meaning if you are competing with the Canadian Physique Alliance and you do move out of Canada, you can still compete within the association without losing your qualifications. So if, let's just say, you do very well at your regional show, then you end up moving to the States or maybe a different country across the world. If there is an NPC branch in that country, you will be able to continue competing. A fun association for you to consider competing would be the UFE if you love natural bodybuilding and a bit of costumes. The UFE runs on a 4-tiered system: novice, open, elite, and pro for their pro competitors. In their statement, the UFE claims that they believe in #no shortcuts, meaning that all athletes must be drug tested prior to stepping on stage. If you test positive for a drug test, you will not be allowed to compete with the association anymore. The Ultimate Fitness events have several different categories for men and for women to compete in, giving a lot of flexibility to different types of body shapes. First, let's talk about the women's classes. For the women, they have bikini, women's fitness, fitness model, figure, glamour, and women's physique. Now for the men's category, they have men's physique, men's fitness model, men's classic physique, and men's bodybuilding. One of the organizations that unfortunately I don't know about, but I have heard a lot of really good buzz for natural athletes, is the OCB. The OCB stands for the Organization of Competitive Bodies. So, if you do work for the OCB, come here, holla at your girl, okay? Let's do a video call, you know?
Oh, no.
As I mentioned, the OCB is a natural association, meaning that when you do go in for your check-in for a competition show, you will be required to do a test to make sure that you are drug-free. Now with them, they have a two-step process. One is the polygraph, and the second one is a urine test. The OCB runs on a two-tier system, amateurs and pros. They also have various categories for their men and for their women. For their women, they have 3 different category options: bikini, figure, and physique. For the men, there are 3 different categories that you can pick from: men's physique, men's classic, and men's bodybuilding. The next organization we're going to talk about is the IDFA, formerly known as the International Drug-Free Athletics. The IDFA, as the name says, is for natural athletes. As for options for women's category, they have 4 different options: bikini, figure, fit model, and transformation. Now the men only have 3 different categories to compete in: bodybuilding, physique, and transformation. Now let's talk about one of the oldest standing natural bodybuilding federations, the WNBF. Now the WNBF is formerly known as the World Natural Bodybuilding Federation. This association was formed in 1989. The WNBF is also part of a joint association called the INBF. Consider the WNBF as the novice and amateur level for bodybuilders, and the INBF as the pro level. The WNBF and the INBF are both drug-free platforms which require you to do a urine test during check-in prior to stepping on stage. Now this association is available across 34 different countries.
No flex, zone.
So it doesn't matter whether you're competing in Canada or somewhere else, more than likely you will find them in your new country to compete as a natural athlete. Now let's talk about an association that has competition options for both natural athletes and open athletes. Now this association is called the CBBF, also known as the Canadian Bodybuilding Federation. Now the CBBF is a tiered system, so you compete with the CBBF at the amateur level and then move up to the IFBB Pro Elite once you become obviously a pro athlete. Now the CBBF is Canadian based. However, if you are competing at the pro level with the IFBB Pro Elite, they are very, very prominent across Europe. Now to go a little bit more in depth into what the name of each association branch for the CBBF is, I do have to grab my laptop to make sure I read these abbreviations correctly. So, if you're a novice competitor competing out of British Columbia, for your regional show, you must compete with the BCA-BBA. Out of Alberta, you will be competing with the ABBA, Manitoba, MABBA, Saskatchewan, SABBA, Ontario, OFA, Quebec, APQ, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland, you'll be competing in the NSA BBA. Now for Nunavut and Yukon, unfortunately, you get no kookaroos here.
21, sir.
I own 21 kookaroos. Y'all don't own one kookaroo. Not one. Not one.
Now for the women's category, they do have quite a few different options for you to pick. And these categories are available both for their natural athletes and their open competitors. So for the women, you have bikini, fit model, wellness, figure, and women's physique. Now let's talk about the men. The men, you also have a couple of options for you to compete in as a novice competitor and moving up to the pro level. You have fit model, physique, classic physique, and bodybuilding.
That's a lot of information to get in 30 seconds.
Now let's talk about different options for open athletes. If you are an open athlete and you do not want to be drug tested, these would be your options for associations to compete in. As I previously mentioned, the CPA and the CBBF both have options for natural athletes and open athletes. So, I do ask you, and I plead you, please, if you are open, if you are using steroids, please, for the love of everything that is holy, do not compete with natural athletes. It isn't fair, it isn't right, and ultimately you are lying to yourself. And as you move further and further into competing, it will become noticeable. So don't do this to yourself. Don't get to the level where you compete at a natural level and then you have to get tested and you're stripped of your title. Don't do this to yourself.
Bye, Felicia.
Y'all stench.
So, now that I've let out that little vent, like I said, you do have those options, CBBF and the CPA. So now let's talk about the most glamorous, and I cannot stress this, these shows are a crazy production. Definitely not like anything I've ever seen before, would be the WBFF. Now let's talk about the WBFF. The WBFF stands for World Beauty, Fitness and Fashion Inc. Now this organization was founded in 1999 by Paul Dillette. He believes that his brand stands for luxury, meaning the best of the best. The WBFF runs on a two-tier system, amateurs and pros. For you to get your pro card within this organization, you not only have to win first place, but overall within your category. Now, as I mentioned, this is an open category, so you will not be drug tested during check-in. This organization has a couple different options for their male athletes and their female athletes to compete in. First, let's talk about the women's class. For the women, you have the option of Diva Bikini, Diva Wellness, Diva Fitness, Diva Figure, Commercial Model, and Transformation. Now let's talk about their men's category. You'll have the options of Male Muscle Model, Transformation, and Male Fitness. Did you enjoy this video? Maybe you learned something new. Or if I got something wrong, don't forget to leave a comment below. Either way, don't forget to like, share, or subscribe to the channel. And come back next week when we talk about competition suits. We'll go over everything for your fabric, the different cuts, different types of embellishment, and what is available and appropriate for your association. I'm Crystal from crystalcreations.com, and I'll see you later. Don't forget to be kind. Bye!